Hi, I'm Raven Cook, a museum educator at Crystal Ridge's Museum of American Art, and this is Bridging the Gap, a series of digital art engagements. In this segment, we will be looking at Self-Portrait with Fish and Cat by Joan Brown. It will be helpful to have paper and something to write with to participate in a special activity during this video. Please pause the video to collect what you need. Before we get started discussing this work of art, let's take a few moments to look closely at it. Start by letting your eyes wander around the work of art, taking notice of some of the details, such as the colors the artist is using and objects you recognize in the painting. Please pause the video to give yourself a few moments to look. We are looking at a life-size painting of the artist Joan Brown. She is standing in clothes splattered with paint, holding a fish and a paintbrush, while a black cat tiptoes across the floor. Joan Brown painted this picture of herself, so it is called a self-portrait. Portrait is another word for a picture of a person. The clues that we can see with our eyes, the paintbrush, the fish, and the cat, for example, can help us learn more about the life of the artist. They can help us discover what made Joan Brown special, what made her unique. Making art is a lot like writing or telling a story. The colors, shapes, and objects we create are like words, and they make a picture language we can see and read. Do you like stories? What kind of stories do you like to read? Do you think the stories that you like can be turned into art? Once Joan Brown began to paint her own picture language, she began to tell stories about her life. She wanted to go on new adventures and collect more stories to tell, so she started to travel around the world. She discovered new cultures and religions, learned about old stories and art of mankind, and worked with others to create artworks that told even bigger stories about people. Joan Brown was an artist, but she was also a teacher at the University of California at Berkeley and a really amazing swimmer. She could swim really long distances and loved the water. She looked at things she enjoyed and experienced in her life to find stories to paint. One thing she really liked to paint, to tell stories, was animals. In 1982, she created a painting called Harmony that shows herself as a cat on one side and a human painter on the other. Another painting from the same year, called Bather, shows her with a human head and a tiger's body. In the self-portrait we are looking at today, she chose to include both a large fish and a black cat. What do you think that tells us about the artist? Do you think she painted a fish because she likes to swim? What is her connection to the animals she painted? Today, you will be creating your very own mixed-up portrait made out of an animal and yourself. You can wait until the end of the video to create your self-portrait, but you should write down a couple of ideas for your artwork. Which animal would you choose? Which part will be human and which part will be animal? What will your animal-human hybrid tell us about you? Please pause the video now to write down or sketch out your ideas. Joan Brown thought that art can tell a story about a person and their life. In an interview, she said, "A person's ideas, feelings, silliness, and even their mistakes are the best vehicle one can use to express their experience." No matter how you choose to tell your life story, remember that there is only one of you, and your personal experiences are truly one of a kind. I can only imagine how unique all of your self-portraits will be. Thank you for watching. This has been Bridging the Gap by Crystal Bridges. This Bridging the Gap was written by museum educator Nicole Leonard and produced by museum educator Raven Cook.